chance to seal it. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly. Rotherham United's pathway back to the Championship is opening up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. I hope we're doing well. I think we've had a great start. I think we've got some technical issues to start with, but we'll get round them, won't we? Mick, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. You?
Very, very good. Thank you very much. It's a classic start to the episode. Is that any better?
Yeah, well, unless you're just going to stop talking midway through a sentence again like you did. But yeah, that seems fine, mate.
Okay. There we are. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you everyone who joined us on Friday for the quiz. We'll probably talk about a lot of stuff we covered on Friday internationally. We'll cover a bit more than that stuff tonight. We will talk about the fan index rating that got released last week as well, and how that portrays to Rotherham's poor positioning in it. And that's whatever we can think of, Mick. Yeah?
Yes, it sounds fair enough. I can't think of anything to say about most of those things, so it's going to be a short episode, I would imagine. Although if this delay keeps going, then obviously it's going to be a much longer episode.
Yeah, this is classic. Classic Wi-Fi problems. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can hear you perfectly well, mate. Yeah, it would appear that I'm the only person that can, though.
Fair enough. It's intermittent.
Yeah.
Let's hope this goes well. It doesn't appear to be. But we'll go from there. Let's talk about the internationals first. Let's sort of tick that off. Obviously, we were all hoping that Victor would get his international debut. That obviously didn't happen. He was starting on the bench for Sweden. Robin Olsen got the nod. Probably to be expected. They go with the experienced guy in goal. As much as we'd love to see Victor start, it's logical.
Yeah, it is. It's to be expected, like you say. I mean, it's his first international call up. Olsen's got the shirt. He's got the gloves. He's got the experience. So yeah, I mean, it's not really a surprise that the Victor didn't get named in the starting 11. Whether he gets his chance against, I think it's Azerbaijan they play next, isn't it? So whether he gets his chance against them, fingers crossed he does, because it's a slightly lower quality opposition, shall we say? So fingers crossed he gets a start.
Possibly. It's still a qualifier, and they got battered 3-0 to Belgium. So it's a game they need to go and win. Maybe not the best time to experiment, possibly, but either way, it's a great experience for him. You know, he's Robin Olsen. I don't think is the keeper he once was, but I think he played for Roma. He's played at the top level. You know, and so from an experience point of view for Victor, again, it must be amazing. He's obviously not playing by representing his country, but he's still representing his country in his squad, and he's playing alongside and training alongside these world-class players. So it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, of course it is. Absolutely. And like I said, it's just huge experience for him, isn't it? So he'll come back a better player, and he will no doubt get his start at some stage.
Yeah, he will, 100%. We've got, we may be hopefully over the worst of the delays on the Wi-Fi. I don't know whether we are or not. We'll have to wait and see. John Morell says to feel free to fill in the awkward silence with a quick tune, Mick, if you want to continue your rain-themed playlist.
It's becoming a bit of a pain in the backside now. It's becoming a bit of a pain in the backside now, to be honest, because I can't. I don't want people thinking I like half of these songs, but you know, it's got to be done. Until we get our 6-point deduction, I think it's only fair that we keep highlighting to the EFL the inadequacies of the Rotherham United ground staff. So if anything I can do to assist in that process, I'm more than happy to do.
Yeah, that pitch that hosted international football on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, but they didn't even get that right, did they? So we still managed to lose that. So
that's true. Yeah,
should have abandoned that game at half time as well.
Yeah. Shelley says, saw something in the YouTube earlier about the top 100 championship players based on ratings this season. Victor made the top 15, which is not surprising. He will be in the conversation at the end of the season. I think he'll probably win our player of the season. He'll be in the conversation for goalkeeper of the season for the entire league. Certainly in the conversation for it. We'll see how that plays out. Two players also played Friday night. Connor Washington played 67 minutes. Shane Ferguson played about 15 minutes or so. Connor Washington got an assist for one of the goals. Interesting, because they've gone the opposite route to us, Northern Ireland. They are starting Connor Washington and bringing Fergie off on the bench, where we're doing the complete opposite. But it's good for Washington to get the minutes, because to me, it seems like one of those players that needs to be playing to get in a rhythm, really.
Yeah, it does. It clearly does, and he's showing that when he comes on for us. To be fair, when he comes on, he makes a difference every time. Sometimes often it's not the difference he made for Northern Ireland in creating an assist or even getting a goal, but he certainly makes a difference every time he comes on. But as with any player, the more he plays, the better he's going to become. The more in tune to the game he's going to become. So it's good that he's getting some minutes under his belt, and hopefully, come Saturday, he'll be getting some minutes under his belt in a red and white shirt. Looks like that delay's come back, Matt.
They are both, Northern Ireland are currently playing as we... Say that again.
I'm not saying anything, because otherwise this podcast's going to last about 2 hours.
They are both playing as we speak. So as we're recording, Northern Ireland are playing. Washington started. Again, Fergie started on the bench. If anything comes of it, we'll see what happens. Kim Hayward's pointing out, that Lee Peltier did an interview, has done an interview with the Second Tier podcast. I've listened to a bit of it. I just, unfortunately, like him even more, Lee Peltier, which is going to be disappointing if he ends up leaving at the end of the season. It just seems more and more likable. But we'll get a proper listen throughout the week, probably. Because he does seem like a top bloke, to be fair. Pelts.
Yeah, well, we kind of thought that might be the case, didn't we? I read some of the comments in the replies to the bits that they've put out on Twitter. It's not they've not let it go down in South Wales, have they? They have not let it go at all.
No, they haven't. They don't seem to know how to let things go, do they?
No.
Like Palmer says, he got some stick from Cardiff fans, which made it great. I mean, I think he's almost a legend down there. So, I don't know. Who cares? Get over it, Cardiff fans. That's all I'll say.
No, don't.
Chio, Okay, carry on until we beat you, and then you can stop. Chio, Mick. Chio, again, did... 90 seconds? He came on as substituting. So again, something like the 65th minute, scored in the 67th minute. He doesn't score those type of goals for us, which is annoying, but I'm dead sure for him for 4 goals, I think, found in not many appearances. He's smashing it when he goes to international level.
Yeah, he is. And to be fair, the goal he got was a proper poacher's goal, wasn't it? Showed his pace and just nipped it in front of the defender. Horrendous defending, let's be fair. However, you still got to finish it. You still got to be in the right position and hit the back of the net, and that's what he did. He clearly loves playing for his country, and that's great to see. And for me, I know he's had his detractors for us this season, and he has had some bad performances, there's no doubt. And like he alluded to in that interview, his head was turned probably during that January transfer window, but he's starting to come back and look like he's enjoying his football again. And that can only be a good thing for Rotherham United.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we mentioned, I think he is massively a confidence player. So scoring for your country is only going to improve that confidence when he comes back. So again, we're sort of winning from that. May make him less likely to sign a new contract. If some may add a suitor or two elsewhere, but if he signs it, a bit of bonus anyway. I'm not overly too much into that. He does play on Monday, I think. Monday night, I think. Let me check that. Yeah, Monday night, Republic of Ireland host France. I mean, they barely scraped past Latvia in a friendly, so I don't hold out much hope for them against France. I think they all battered Holland, I think, didn't they, again Friday? So it could be a long night for the Irish on Monday, but we'll watch, and hopefully Chio, he played against Ronaldo, didn't he, and players like that. And so hopefully he can go and play against some other world class players and give him a good headache. We'll have to wait and see on that one. The only one that will play is Bailey Wright. Bailey Wright, Australia scheduled to play Tuesday, our time Tuesday morning. I think it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock kickoff, something like that, or the Friday game was. So we'll watch out. He didn't play in the Friday game. May well play in this one. And Yelda also, I think he's got his second or third cap for Norway. Sorry, under 21s, which again is good because he'll go and play minutes because I think it's important for him. Any other international players I've missed, Mick? I think we've just covered them all there.
Yeah, I think we've covered them all. The Bailey Wright one's a bit of a worry for us, given that he's not playing until Tuesday morning, and then he said, what is it, a 30-hour flight or whatever it is back from Australia, whether he's going to be in any fit state to play on Saturday. Yeah. He's arguable, and we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, no idea. We could, yeah. Unfortunately, he will be the last player to sort of represent his country when he's got the furthest to travel, which is really not ideal, to be honest with you. Shall I say on Chio? Just hope we can tie Chio down. He seems to be happy here and thinks he stated that recently. Speculation definitely didn't help him, but after the last few games, it looks like he is back. Yeah, it does seem that way. And I said, we'll keep an eye out for all the players that are scheduled to play on mainly Monday, some on Tuesday. Right, let's delve into the fan engagement. So, Shelley, I see what was the thing about us being rated 90th. It's actually 91st out of 92 for fan engagement. So this is something done by, let me get them up, because this is something that people may want to look at themselves if they weren't aware of it. This is Think Fan Engagement. Now, basically what they do every season, they go on and see how each club has interacted with their fans, kept informed, that type of thing. And Rotherham United finished 91st out of 92. Only Hartlepool finished below us. It is worth remembering that this is for last season, so the first season post-COVID. This is what it's for. We score. It's a fairly complicated list of point system, but basically, for example, a fans forum that would score you quite highly because you're interacting with fans. There's for example, if you've got a supporters liaison on social media, a specific channel for supporters to go down, again, that scores you a healthy amount of points to put you up in the list. Fans on the board, again, scores you very highly. Just anything between the fans and the clubs scores you highly. In the past, we've scored okay, actually. I would think the highest we were was 35th out of the 92. That was 2019, I think. So it isn't, Rotherham have always been rubbish. It's strange, Mick, because I don't feel like anything's changed. Because, we haven't had a fans forum until this season, but we were post-COVID. I mean, last season, if you imagine trying to organise an event last December when there was rumours of going back into lockdown last season. So I do feel a bit sorry for the club for that. I don't know. I might be just roasting to glasses here. What are your thoughts on
it? Well, first of all, I've not read in any depth how this company, organisation, whatever they are, formulate their figures. That's the first thing. So I'm not a big fan of these sorts of things, and it's not because we're 91st out of 92. We could be first out of 92, and I'm still not a big fan of it, because realistically, from a fan's perspective, the actual table itself All it does is, from fans' perspective, the ones in the top 10 or whatever can go, oh, look how good our club is, and everybody else from halfway down gives them something else to moan about their club. When the reality is that for probably 95% of those clubs, the people that are employed by the clubs to do this job are doing the very best. They're doing the best that they've got with the tools that they've got, and some are more successful than others. So I just find it, I find it a bit divisive. I think is the word I'm looking for, and unnecessary. I mean, fan engagement. What does that mean? All right, we've held a fans forum. Any club that holds a fans forum, it's just the same as talking to the press, because you're only ever going to get the same answers that the local newspaper journalist is going to get to the same questions. It's almost a paper exercise. It's just pointless. You're never going to get anything new, anything substantial, anything significant out of these. It's just a box ticking exercise. So I think that's a waste of time. You allude back to the fact that this was last season, 2021. How many points do we get for allowing the BBC to come in and get a full warts and all behind the scenes look at the way that the club is running, the way that the team's running, the way that the manager's performing? Well, I mean, what better fan engagement do you want than that? You're literally in the changing room with the manager. I mean, what? So listen, I'm not going to call our club out at all on this. I think they do very, very well. We've all commented, and I know some people won't agree with me, but it's down to opinion ultimately. But we look at the way that the pre-season went, and the social media output of the club during that tour during the closed season were absolutely outstanding. It was excellent. Some really great content came out of that. So I think they are doing the best, the people that are there with the tools that they've got and with the staff that they've got. We haven't got a full team of 20 people dedicated to PR. We haven't got that. And we're never going to have that. I don't know. It all feels a little bit pointless to me. And I'm sure the people who've created this have done a really good job and they've worked really hard. I'm not trying to be critical of them in any way. I'm genuinely not. But I just feel that, despite having said that, I think it's a bit pointless.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. John Burrell says even the Blues got 75th, and most of our fans can't sit in the stadium, and it's falling down. Sam Darby says it costs money. These type of things cost money. It costs money we haven't got. Let's focus on the pitch.
Yeah.
The
best PR you're going to get is by doing well on the pitch. I accept that there's more could be done with through YouTube and through social media and everything else. However, there's a finite number of people available to do this. You know what I mean? And there are more important things.
Yeah. One of the other things we're doing a lot more, especially for the disabled fans. Yeah, they've opened a new area for disabled fans. I think our club rates one of the highest in Yorkshire for facilities for disabled supporters. I think is actually one of the only ones that's recognised by UEFA as having a high standard in Yorkshire for disabled access. So, but again, I don't think it necessarily counts into fan engagement, as far as I'm aware. The guys who have done it, they did reply to us because we sort of tagged them in it, and we may at some point be able to sort of speak to them and get them to talk us through it. I think, Scott Grundy should have New York Talk as the official podcast. That's what we're trying to get in now. I'm kidding. No,
there's an issue with that, though, Scott.
And it's him.
It's me.
I mean, I think let's play devil's advocate sort of thing. I think the club could do more. I agree with you 100%. I'm personally happy with what they do. I think it's good to have a fans forum occasionally. If Tunners Shooter doesn't turn up, it is then a bit more pointless because you've not got the face, essentially the face of the club there. But that was just one of those things at the time. There were obvious reasons for him not being able to attend. But I'm sure the club could be doing more. You know, could we be seeing more? We see Tony Stewart once every so often. Maybe we need to hear from Paul Douglas a little bit more, and just on how the club works. But at the same time, that's taking them away from their actual job, isn't it? If they couldn't spend an hour talking to us, that's an hour they could be spending doing something else and actually improving the club rather than maybe telling us about it. But then other clubs are more open and honest. I feel like our club could be more open and honest compared to other clubs, but we're still doing quite well. You know what I mean? We've just been praised by everybody who's got the financial knowledge that we are a very well run club. And then a day later, we're getting not criticised. I think obviously not criticising for us, but we're getting very, very badly ranked for fan engagement. It's good news, bad news. It's just strange. I don't know how to word it really.
It's one of those things, isn't it? That, you know, if you're doing well as a club, then somebody somewhere will find some way of pulling carpet from underneath you. That's just the way modern media works, isn't it? You know, we build people up, we build them up as being the next best thing, and as soon as they become the next best thing, we just pull rug out from under the feet and start kicking them while they're down because that's how the media work. I'm not suggesting that that's what this is, but it kind of fits into that culture that we've got at the moment, and it's obscene, to be honest with you. We may be 91st in that particular ranking, but none of us know what the criteria are, how the criteria is scored, whether it's fair, whether it's reasonable, whether it includes everything that's done within the club, because they haven't been around all 92 clubs and looked at the work that's going on. You know, it can only be.
It's data they've collected. It's not necessarily the club don't submit data to it.
Precisely. So it's data that's been collected from open source data, you know, that's available to everybody. So if it's available to everybody, it's out there on the internet. If it's out there on the internet, it's probably not true most of the time, you know, or sanitized or somebody else's opinion. So therefore, how much weight does it hold? That's my question. I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, like I said right at the beginning of this, if we were 7th, I'd still be saying the same thing. Yeah, I have no issue with where we are in the table because the table's not important to me. What's important is that the club do engage with fans as best that they possibly can, given the tools that they've got. The club's as open as it's ever been. It's more open than it's ever been in my experience. But yes, do we want more? Well, I don't know as we do. Well, what we want is more on the pitch, don't we? Yeah. You know? So, well, whatever.
Yeah, and we can only speak. We briefly deal with the media team to get sort of players on this podcast. There's not many other football clubs that will send their players onto an independent podcast, which again I think is really good from the football club. I know there was a local club that basically started charging their independent podcast to have the players from the football club on. There's none of that from Rotherham United. Every time we've asked it, sometimes the answer is going to be no. But wherever they have been possible, they've accommodated us to try and get people to obviously to get fans' questions into the players, which we're grateful. And you know, I think that whenever the players come on, they represent the club really, really well as well. Yeah. I don't know. It is difficult. Every club can do better. Every single club can do better. Even whoever's first, they can do better. But it's one of those things. It's like the football on the pitch. You're achieving for this mythical, perfect thing. It doesn't really exist, does it? Because if you get what you think's perfect, there'll be a bit more that somebody else wants. So it's
the problem with these things is that once you start allowing these things to become accepted and a thing, if you like. What clubs and what businesses or people or whatever walk of life these charts happen to be in, will start to look at what the criteria are and start to work towards the criteria, not working towards doing what your job is, which is fan engagement or PR for the club or whatever. You look to start to fill the categories so you can get higher up the chart. What's the point? You know, it just takes away from the actual job at hand. So I know a lot of people are disappointed or not happy with the way that the club is run. I'm sorry, but in my view, just look around you. just look around you, even in this division, let alone the other divisions. This club is well run, and it's very, very, in my view, at the moment, very, very unfair to single out anybody from the club where you're not doing a good job because you don't know. You know, I know Paul Douglas comes in for a lot of stick. Nobody has a clue what Paul Douglas does for this club. Nobody. You know, that he's been at this club literally through thick and thin. He's a Rotherham United supporter, and he's committed his working life for the last 20 odd years to this club through thick and thin. If you're saying he just sits there in his office and twiddles his thumb, you know, on the back of his title, then you're mad. You know, he's got this club running through his blood like the rest of us have, and the other people that work there as well. So it's very, very easy to be critical, very easy. But you know, we're not having to do it day to day, are we?
No, that's true. Jamie says he's noticed on the doing proper YouTube thumbnails on the YouTube highlights. Yeah, I've noticed that. A lot more contents. They're putting effort into content, which you've got to have the right staffing to do that. You've got the right people to do that, and they're clearly moving in the right direction. That's all we can ask is we're always moving in the right direction, and I really think they are. John Morrell says, let's be honest, no one cares about engagement if you're winning on the pitch. Correct. And Paramount UK says, being honest, I'd rather have a club focus on better catering and a better exit strategy than talking about repeated lines. Yeah, exactly. You know, what's better is, you know, try and sort out genuine issues such as that, or Tony Stewart going on the radio once a week to just repeat the same thing because nothing new is really happening. As you know, that's obviously a strong example, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean the catering side of it, certainly on the concourses, it's absolutely appalling. It really is appalling. You know, they employ people behind the counter who've little or no experience, who are literally like rabbits in the headlights. You know, they're literally thrown in with no training. Apparently, it would appear no training, and it's just not acceptable. It's not acceptable to them, and it's not acceptable to supporters. But it's been outsourced, hasn't it? You know, it's been outsourced, and the company that it's been outsourced to, it would appear, certainly in my experience, and over a consistent period of time, that they're completely out of the depth. They're doing it on the cheap. The food is appalling. The service is not great because the people who are there employing on probably less than minimum wage, I would imagine, have no training and don't really know what to do, and so it gets busy at half time and nobody can get anything, and when they do get it, it's god awful snap.
Yeah. Ian Bradley says, if you want a football club with better fan engagement and far better social media, look at Donny. Yeah, but they're run very, very badly. You know, from an ownership point of view, they are in a bit of a disastrous state. It shouldn't be one or the other, and I don't think it is, to be fair. But I know which club I'd rather be supporting at the moment. On this sort of topic, Mick, let me give you a magic wand, and you can sort of say, right, I want from a fan engagement point of view, you could wave your magic wand, and this one thing would happens, whether it's a fan forum monthly, an age more fans on the board, or more say in the how the club is working. Is there anything that you think, right? Yeah, this would be amazing if it was possible, or again, it's quite a broad sort of fan engagement. It's really broad, isn't it? It's not sort of one specific thing.
Yeah, it is. It is, and off the top of my head, I'm sure somebody else put something in comments because I can't think of anything particularly. You know, it's all about the game, isn't it? It's all about the match.
Yeah.
So the broadcast of the match, be it commentary or otherwise, is dictated by the EFL, so it's all licensed by them. So the club can't impact that. Maybe some pre-match build-up. You know, now we've got the facility to the people with the phones and everything else. You know, everybody walks to the ground or drives to the ground or whatever, listening to Radio Dida. Maybe we could have a Radio Rotherham United on the run up to the game, on the build-up. You know, a little bit of a sort of so people can listen to it on the phones. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. Fans forums, like I said, I take a particularly dim view of them because I don't see the point of them. Quite honestly, you're never ever going to get anything more than you can read in an advertiser or hear.
You're not going to get a bombshell, are you?
No, you're not. You're just not going to get it. So, all it does is give the opportunity to fans to shout at the owner if they're not happy. I don't see what that brings, frankly. So I'm comfortable with what the club are doing. I don't see it as a massive priority. But if it was anything at all, it'd have to be the facilities for supporters.
Yeah.
So your food and your food stores and everything else. We've got Pucker Pies. We've got Eric Twig Foods on board. Surely there's something that can be done without having to outsource it to what is frankly, I'm sorry to say, a tin pot a company, because there's a service that they provide to supporters is shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. So that's what I'd wave my magic wand.
Yeah. A few people, John mentions on the food. Birmingham do a lot of clubs do this now, like a street food stalls outside each stand, as the internal kit was so bad as well. Yeah. Jamie mentions this again. We would love to pay for sort of stadium tour. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I can't. I do it Wednesday night. I think what the club could do is maybe utilize the facilities more. You look at Doncaster and they do concerts. And I know this isn't fan engagement, obviously, but I feel like the facilities we've got could be utilised in other ways to make bigger profit for the club. I'm sure they've looked at that. But yeah, that is something. Scott Grundy, I'd like to see more player interviews on the websites in the build up to the games. Yeah, definitely. Powermad UK says, I'd like a bit of clarity during a game on what's going on, like a goal that's not been given for no reason. Yeah, so if only there was this system that they could bring in to check if a decision was right or not. That'd be quite good, wouldn't it? Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good idea, that, Matt. You ought to try and sell that idea to Premier League.
Might get a go. Yeah. I don't think they've got all that's as good at the minute, so we'll get a go. Get a mention. Neil Liversidge, bring back pork pies. Simple, but there you go. That's what he wants. Josh Inslee says there's going to be a bar at the ground, which is better. Yeah, they're making the effort. You look at the community sports stuff they do. The kids can go and have a kick at a shootout thing. I can't think of the right words. My words are failing me tonight somehow. But that type of thing, I really like that type of thing. Again, got mentioned this before. Go a little girl, and she loves to just go. If it's there, we'll go kick a ball off, and then you walk into the ground, and it's a bit better. So, yeah, improve the pitch.
What about the work that Jamie Noble does with the Community Sports Trust? Is that involved? Is that included in the fans' fan engagement? Because Jamie does a fantastic job with that.
They constantly get commended for their work they do in the community, but then again, it's weird, isn't it? It's strange.
Yeah, and John Breckin with his Miller's Memory Club and all those sorts of things that are happening don't seem to. Well, maybe other clubs are doing it better than we are. I don't know. There's plenty of fan engagement at this club.
Well, look at what they've done this season. You mentioned the Miller's Memory Club. I can't remember what it was, but they allow for people to come in to use the club's heating. They had a name for it. I can't remember what that was. But again, that's not every club's doing that. I thought that was really, really good. Like I said, the work that the Community Sports Trust do is brilliant. It's really, really good. They seem to have a really good team there. I feel like we're blowing smoke up the club a little bit. Do you want to criticise?
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that, doesn't it? Well, to be fair, I've been pretty heavily critical of their ability to deliver any sort of edible food at lunch at half time.
True. Jamie says he wants New York talk at half time. Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Is it sam.todd at rotherhamunited.com?
Yeah. Powermed says hot sandwiches, pork, beef, turkey would be great. Yeah, these little things, outsourcing it, but to proper catering companies is an interesting idea, which I think will be good. Josh Inslee says he wants padded seats, like all the seats except the other wants to be padded. Like Ian Bradley says, we're not MK Dons.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Josh, get yourself down to Stadium MK, mate.
Yeah. Mark Miller says stadium seats could do it with the clean where he was. The seats were a bit dirty. Yeah. I agree. But what I would say to all of them, and I do agree with basically all of them, to be honest with you, but they're only minor things, aren't they? You know what I mean? Food is maybe less minor because that's something you have to pay quite a lot of money for. But the other stuff, it's sort of minor things, which shows I think the club's in probably a pretty good place. It obviously can improve. Everything can.
I think it is in a good place. I genuinely do. But the thing that we've identified there, and I think a lot of people within the comments agree with it as well. It's just the catering is just it's woeful, and it needs that's the thing that really needs to be addressed. Other than that, get us 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah. Josh mentioned he went to Man City and Liverpool. They had a band on the screen that was filmed outside, and also the interviews with fans. I thought when we played Man City Cup a few years ago, I thought their sort of pre-match stuff for their big stream was brilliant. It was so good, but you've got to bear in mind the money that they put into that.
Yeah, I'm going to say
I imagine their media team's as big as our playing staff in terms of numbers.
They've got the whole weight of Saudi Arabia behind them, haven't they? Oh no, that's Newcastle.
Abu Dhabi. Anyway, Danny's with us. Danny, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How's everybody doing?
We started the episode with bad internet from myself. We're now going part with the episode with bad Wi-Fi from you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not playing up, is it?
I'll go through some comments while it hopefully resolves itself. Sarah Ogden says when she lived in Prague, went to Sparta Prague, and they were rotisserie chicken and bread. That should be quick to serve. Yeah, plenty of stuff. Plenty of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, John Morell's got a point as well. Another thing that could work is to put some proper drainage on pitch.
Yeah.
But I mean, or a bigger sweeping brush.
Yeah. Palmer says Danny sounds like he's drunk. He probably is. He's been to the Ronnie Moore and John Breckin fan question. I can't remember what they called it now. Fan question thing.
I might be a little bit drunk. What business is it of yours?
Danny, we're talking about the fan engagement thing again. Magic one time. If you had sort of one thing that you want the club to improve on from a fan engagement thing, from a media content kind of thing, is there anything that you would think, that'd be really good or not?
Oh, if I had to pick a media point of view, I would actually have to say TikTok, if I'm being honest, because there's quite a lot of fan engagement from certain clubs on TikTok where some of them are quite funny, other ones don't make a lick of sense to me. But I'd say that way on. But I would actually say more talks with the chairman, if I'm being honest, from a fan perspective, just to find out, where the club is and what direction we're going in. I mean, look at where Wigan are. They haven't got the faintest clue other than an open letter from their chairman. But with us, I mean, we're already okay with where the chairman wants to take us, but, maybe like a monthly or a bi-monthly talk with the chairman just to see where the club is, that might be okay and might put us above the parapet with other clubs where they have no connection to the chairman whatsoever. So, yeah. And also like more interviews on YouTube and stuff. I'm going to try and use my camera and hope it's okay with the internet. But yeah, maybe more interviews on YouTube through players or the manager or the chairman or etc. Just something like that. But also more comedic fan engagement stuff on TikTok. I personally would like to see that. I don't know what everybody else is like because, I don't think there's a lot of people who use TikTok. I mean, there's certainly a Rotherham United following on TikTok, but there's no club account. Like Jamie says in the comments, there's a TikTok account by the guy who drives the coaches for Wilfried Beehive from United. So I'd like to see a bit more of an official thing, maybe a match day TikTok sort of thing. I mean, people who know TikTok will know what I'm on about with like the weird dancing cat and the music where you check in certain venues. That'd be funny, but it gets people viewing the club and gets you out there. So that's what I'd like to see. So if you're watching, I'm more than happy to run the TikTok for the club. Just drop me a message.
I think the issue with that, Danny, is that, and it's a great idea, but a good proportion, above 50% of our supporters are older than 7 years old. So,
I mean, Mick, I only joined TikTok at 23, so you know I'm a bit late to the party, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. John Morell says, as someone who is in IT, you certainly want to stay away from TikTok. I think some security.
Yeah, but John would say that, wouldn't he? Because Birmingham have had their fingers burnt with Chinese already. We don't want it. He obviously
it's Hong Kong.
Well, it's close enough.
China, I think kind of, yeah. Let's not get into the political issues.
All I'm saying, we could do with a following from China, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah, let's move on before we defend somebody.
We'll agree with that one. Fair enough.
Yeah, so are we a few ones? Carl Scott says own TV channel. I know a few clubs do that sort of thing. I know Charlton again. This is not doable, but Charlton do I think Scott Minto hosts like a pre-match for the home games, which is really, really good. Again, I don't think that's necessarily doable for the club because of the budget constraints. But again, we were talking magic. Yeah.
Manager and
what could go wrong? Yeah,
not a thing.
All I say is just be careful what you wish for. This football club's by no means perfect, but we're safe in terms of a future. We've got a secure future for a football club, which is more than can be said for some, isn't it? Right. Moving on, let's talk about the positive news that came out from Paul Davis over the weekend about Mr. Rathbone. He is set to start full training with the squad on Monday or Tuesday, Danny. That is better news than anything, really, because we've been missing a Ollie Rathbone type character and also his technical skill sets as well. That would be, if he's available, even just from the bench for Hull, that would be huge.
I knew he'd come to me halfway through a chicken nugget as well. But yeah, Ollie coming back is such a big thing, you know. Like I've said before, he's like a little traction engine in midfield, and even if he starts on the bench, he offers something completely different to what we've got in midfield at the minute. He offers a lot more bite and control on the ball, but also pressing when we're off the ball as well. So it'll be such a big asset when we get Ollie back, even if it's just off the bench, like you say. And I think that's probably why God is a Miller, because he saw that Ollie Rathbone was so important to us, who wants us to play against Cardiff. But yeah, serious now, Ollie being back in training is such a huge running asset for us during the end of the season. So I'm happy to see him back, even if it's just off the bench in a certain game or starting and playing maybe 60 minutes. So it'll be such a massive asset that I'm really looking forward to him being back. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I will mention it. Keena should be fit as well. So you then gone from having a threadbare midfield with Foster having to almost maybe a makeshift central midfielder to having an option, not just having a player. We've got an option of, right, let's start Keena because we don't want to hurt, push Rathbone too hard and just give him half an hour, 20 minutes. Those type of options are what we've been missing, to be fair.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Ben Wiles is getting close to being fit as well. We could have a bit of an embarrassment to Richards in that midfield, which is going to be crucial to us as we get to this running, because it's a tough old running for us. So we need to be picking up some points. So yeah, it's great news. It's really, really good news, because that's where the issues have been. Well, with the exception of what we've talked about in terms of the lack of intensity and everything else, a lot of that stems from a lack of anything in midfield, any bite in midfield. So, or bite and creativity, which Ben Wiles brings us, which Ollie Rathbone brings us, which hopefully Keena will bring us as well. you know. So fingers crossed. That is good news, and hopefully there's no setbacks.
Yeah. So, Foundwed says, God saw Ollie Rathbone not in the starting 11 and wept. And that's what caused the issues at Cardiff. Well, that very good. Josh Hinson says, no information yet on when what will happen with the Cardiff postponement yet. No, EFL are not known for their efficiency. They're known for many things, efficiency not being one of them. All the rumours are that it will be probably the 25th of April. It may not be, it may be sooner. I don't think it can be sooner now because the next available window is next week between Hull and the Easter weekend. So it's either the 25th or the week after, which would lead into the final weekend of the season.
I don't think either club would want to play on a Tuesday night before an Easter weekend.
No.
I don't think either club would want that. Cardiff, particularly with a 4-hour journey here and a 4-hour journey back on a Tuesday night, they're going to be going back Wednesday morning. They're going to lose Wednesday training. They're playing again Friday. It's just not. It wouldn't suit them and it wouldn't suit us. So I can't see that being an option now. And that's good news. It's good news for both clubs.
Yeah, it is. No, actually, I'm Cardiff are away on Good Friday as well at Blackpool.
Yeah. Well, they could stay up here.
Stay up here.
The problem with that is that I'm running out of rain songs to tweet, so I'm going to have to.
There's always the possibility it could be the final week of the season because Sheffield United play Huddersfield in that week, which could be huge for both teams at that stage of the season. Hopefully, it's done and dusted at our end of the table. We obviously don't know. Should be done by now.
I'm a big fan of Jamie's suggestion for the Cardiff game.
Yeah.
Lifeguard shirts. And rubber rings and lifeguard T-shirts, etc.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, Matt, you could put your Baywatch bathing suit on.
Good. Yeah. It'll still not have warmed up by them, though, to be fair, will it? Yeah. Danny, talk to us about today. You've spoken to two legends today, Ronnie and Brex. I imagine there's some great stories from those two, as there would be.
Absolutely. It was hosted by Les Payne tonight, who did an excellent job of mitigating the conversation. There were a few questions asked from both myself and a few members of the audience. But some stories that Ronnie and John Breckin were telling, good grief, they were absolutely hilarious. I'm sure a few people have heard the Elton John story when they were down in Watford that I won't repeat. Famous Branston mention amongst a smattering of other stories as well. But yeah, it was just a lovely evening. We're nice and chilled out. Had a nice chat with him. Ronnie Moore's now got my phone number, which is my claim to fame.
Poor lad.
And then there are a few things bubbling away that are going to be happening in the summer as well. So yeah, it was just a lovely chat and with mates and stuff. Yeah, absolutely stellar evening in my books. Absolutely stellar.
Yeah. And did you stop to watch the England game as well?
We did, yeah. Ronnie and Breck nipped off to Cutler's just after the England game, I think it was. We stayed to watch England. I mean, England won 2-0 against Ukraine, as we know. Saka's goal was top draw. But we didn't really pay much attention to England game because we were just like having conversation with Ronnie and Breck in private. I've come away with a few signed pictures from Essex Phil Miller, Grace Kelly. So they're going to be raffle prizes at our race night and charity match, respectively. Yeah, just a nice evening, if I'm being honest. I won't spoil some of the stories, but some of them were absolute corkers. Good grief! There one story about people who were there will know what I'm on about. But there's one story about the team being in like the communal bath at Millmore, And the story is absolutely incredible. It was so funny. I'm in absolute stitches with it.
Yeah.
I don't even want to ask.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't think that,
It's not my story to tell, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Troops travels on the Cardiff thing. Just hope we don't end up egging our faces and lose the match as we previously losing. I'll be honest with you, if we're safe by then, I don't care. Let them have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're done, I think we should just put kids out.
If it's done, we should let them walk in and score a goal from kickoff, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, we can try and we can claim the moral high ground, even though it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Hats off to what?
I'm all for that, particularly if it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Hats off to the Rotherham youth team. We should give them a massive amount of praise. They've reached the cup final. I haven't got on me the name of the trophy, but I will find it. They beat Mansfield Town 2-1 at Sheffield Hallamshire thing. I can't remember what it's called now. Sports ground. There you go. The under-18s booked them in the national final of the Youth Alliance Cup. I don't know what it means, but it's a cup final for a national cup final. So that's I think it's the second time they've got that in recent times. I think we lost to Wimbledon a few years ago.
Do they play McDonald's in this?
McDonald's in the final. I don't know where yet. I don't think that's been announced where that will be played. But yeah, if it's at home, if it's home time, hopefully it's at New York. That'd be really, really good. Well, see if the pitch holds up. It depends on that, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, it depends when it rains.
Yeah,
get a bit of drizzle early off.
Yeah. A few Cardiff tears. We've played before. We play Cardiff. It should be fine.
Yeah.
I think we've covered about everything, to be honest with you. I think we've done well to get 52 minutes out of our international episode with no real sparking performances. Anything else you want to mention?
Or discussion about international football, for that matter.
We didn't mention England. You can talk about England if you want, mate.
Yeah.
Won twice. Two hardest games in the group.
They were. They put in a complete. The complete Rotherham United performance against Italy, didn't they? Where they were excellent in first half and absolutely dogger in second. And then tonight, obviously, they just did a job. So, it's still fun.
Because Italy were brilliant, by the way. We were so good against Italy in that first half.
Yeah. I don't want to blow smoke up John's backside here, but Jude Bellingham, man, what a player that lad is!
Yeah.
What a footballer! I think I've said this before. Taking Mickey out of Birmingham about retiring his shirt. Do you know what? I can see why now. Because you ain't ever getting anybody that's going to fill that shirt ever.
Yeah,
he's a player and a half, and if England start a game in the foreseeable future and he's fit and does not start, then that should be an instant sacking for the manager. No question.
Yeah. A 19-year-old Nicholas Gill, a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
He's going to be one of the best in the world by 26.
Phenomenal.
The good thing about Bellingham, Danny, and we'll quickly mention this, is he seems like he's got a proper head on his shoulders. You know, like Jack Grealish has got a bit of a wild side to him. Jude Bellingham seems like the most down-to-earth and sensible person in the entire team. And that will stand him in the perfect stead to go on to be potentially one of the best.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's gone over to Bundesliga to further his game and he's absolutely tearing it up over there. One of the few England players recently that's gone to, a continental league that's actually got into England squad.
Yeah.
Because we seem to have a weird focus on just the Premier League over recent years until Bellingham, and when Trippier went to Atletico, he sort of got in there as well. But yeah, with Bellingham, to say he's only 19, he's one heck of a player. I mean, if he'd not been selected for England, he could have been playing for the under-19s at New York on Saturday. But Al last said that to me, and it's just like he must be such a good footballer and so above where the current under-19s are that he's in the senior squad at the age that he is. And
Definitely.
for me, it's just a joy to watch. You know, he's deserved his move to Dortmund. Maybe not quite having his number retired at Birmingham. That might be a little bit of a push, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's one of them players where if you're good enough, you've cut it, you've gone continental, you've made England squads. Just fair play to you. You know what I mean? It's like we played against his brother when we played Birmingham, and you can tell who's got footballing genes in family, if I'm being honest. But with Bellingham, top tier player, and he deserves to go all the way with England. I think he's going to have an absolutely massive international career with England, and just fair play to him. You know, that's all you can say. Just hold your hands up and go, you know what, lad, fair play to you.
Yeah, big time. A few people in the comments mentioned the Wednesday result today. I mean, look, we lost to Forest Green. You know what I mean? That was a long time ago. So I'm very wary of throwing bricks while sat in this glass house. To be honest with you, and also, well, look, you take yourself back 12 months, and we were in almost an identical position to what they were in, sailing off into the sunset, which is the Championship, and then you start falling over your own shoelaces. Don't get me wrong, I'm almost certain Wednesday will still go up. I still think they are a bit of a machine, and I think we will see them in the Championship next season. But if we don't, it will be one of the funniest things that's happened in football ever. So, it's where it is in life, isn't it?
Listen, they obviously want to copy the elite, don't they? And they've virtually done exactly what we did last season, gone on a 20-odd game winning run, and then can't buy a win. They obviously feel it's. They feel it's the way to go. It's the way the big clubs do it.
Yeah. Have either of you? Can I put the amnesty in for the £1 mentioning the former manager's name? Can we have 5 minutes where we don't have to put £1 in the pot?
If you want.
Yeah. Well, the reason I mentioned it is because he did an interview with Dave Prutton on Friday, which was quite interesting. Has either of you two listened to it?
No, I've not heard it. No.
Interesting, really, really interesting. He's talked in the past about the emotional strain of being manager of Rotherham United, and how much almost better it is at Derby. There's less pressure on him. If he essentially feels like there's less pressure at this big, huge club than there was at little old Rotherham United. He was sort of saying whenever he was Rotherham manager, whenever he won, he'd get like 100 text messages on his phone from people saying well done. And when he lost, he might get 20 or 30 or something like that. And he still got to reply to them all. He talked about bumping into Rotherham fans everywhere he went because of where he lived. And now he's in Derby, he can go home and he can just sort of switch off, which was quite interesting. It almost, and this is obviously not true and probably unfair, it almost feels like he took an easy option by getting out of Rotherham United. Because the strains and pressures he put on himself. Easy way out is maybe not the right phrase. Maybe reward for the strain he's put himself under for 6 years.
Can you blame him for that, really?
No. The way I said it sounded like a dig, and I wasn't trying to dig him for it.
No, I know you weren't. I know you weren't. This club has been part of his life for God only knows how many years, 20 years, 25 years. It means a lot to him. It means a huge amount to him, and so to be carrying that responsibility must have been a huge weight on his shoulders. Whereas now he can go and do a job.
Yeah.
And it's got to be easier. I can't believe I'm saying it's got to be easier managing Derby County than managing Rotherham United. But given the circumstances, put in context, I can see how it would be, in the context of this. So I will always have a special place for Paul Warne, always, because of what he's done for this football club, and I hope to see him back one day.
I still find it difficult watching him, I'll be honest with you. It's like a breakup, really, where it's still strange seeing him. It's still really odd. and sort of listening to him and going from there. John Morrell said, I'm sure his bank balance isn't moaning at him for making the switch. No,
Precisely.
that as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah, he also said he feels more like a manager at Derby than he did at Rotherham because it was his first job, and when he got the job, it was Warne, and whereas now he's the manager. You know, he's been brought in by Birmingham. If you've got an hour, there are bits in it about Rotherham United. There are a lot about Derby County, so some people might be interested, some won't. There is the comment that Reg says Warne is a traitor and left us in the crap. I get that. Don't agree with it. I understand the strength of feeling, though. I do get that, but it's certainly not where any of us are. I don't think.
Yeah.
Danny, do you want to say on it?
From my time at Roundwood and meeting Paul Warne on occasion, I mean, he's genuinely a nice bloke, and I think the fact that he wanted to further his managerial career probably says that he didn't see that being with Rotherham. So he's found Derby, bigger wage, more of a challenge in terms of a club level, but also high ceiling, but also a higher ceiling with players and wages and stuff as well. Like you said, there's no real personal connection with him at Derby. Like I say, he lives in Tidkill, so he's that little connection with Rotherham. He's been a Rotherham player for time after time, but then come through and basically got the job of, well, you've done all right as caretaker, let's take you on. But with Derby, it's just further in his career, and I don't hold any personal resentment towards him. Like you can have the banter and the always a bit of a treacherous so and so going to Derby and stuff. But if I was to meet him in the street again, I'd check his hand and just go, "How's it going at Derby?" Because it's nothing personal. I don't think. I think he's just furthered his career, and that's all it is for me.
Yeah, I see a lot of fans take a bit of pleasure in the run that Derby are on. As predictable as it was that this would happen, because this does happen with his teams, I don't really take much pleasure from it, to be honest with you.
No.
But
look, let's be fair, and I know there's a few people in the comments, one in particular, won't agree with this. Derby County should be playing in League One.
No.
So that's and they will have fans getting on his back because it's 2023, and when you're 12, that's what you do, isn't it? When you don't get your own way. So it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. They'll be fine. I think if they make the playoffs, I wouldn't want to bet against them.
No, definitely not. We said this when you were here.
The ideal scenario here would be for Barnsley to win every single game, go up in second place, and be a Derby Wednesday final in playoff. So Warne can just get another one over on them. I mean, that be assuming that we stay up.
Yeah, assuming that we stay up. Correct. Yeah. People forget. So Humphrey says people get one worked his way up from Distown days. There's non-league football playing at Wembley for non-league versus Tamworth manager of an ex-finalist in Norwich in the 1960s. Yeah. Let's round it up. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Like, if you've got an hour, go watch it, because it is decent. It is good, to be fair. But if you still find it difficult to watch him, then don't, because it's not all about Rotherham United, as it shouldn't be, because he's not our manager. Anything else? Last call for anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good.
Cool. Wonderful news. We'll end it there. So thank you all for being with us. We will be back on Thursday evening for a preview, and it gets serious now. It gets properly serious from Saturday onwards. What is it? 8 or 9 games we've got left now between then and the end of the season, which will make or break it. We will preview that on Thursday evening with the game at Hull City. Friday morning, obviously, for the audio podcast. Please do subscribe on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And please do give us a 5-star rating. If you're wanting some hats, by the way, as I mentioned, the Kinvo hats that they've provided for us, if you go into Kinvo Sports, I should have got a web page up, shouldn't I? Let me get it up. It's gone from my screen. I apologise. Apologies, Kinvo. I will find it for next time. No, I've got it. Kinvo Sports. Kinvosports.co.uk. You can purchase one of these hats it's $11.99, I think it is. So if you fancy one, go and buy one. We will be giving out. I've got 3 more to give away, I think. So we will give some more away in the next week or 2 before the end of the season. If you wanted to get ahead of your next season's Sunday League, Saturday League, 5-a-side kits, give them a shout as well, because their prices seem reasonable compared to other suppliers. So thank you very much. Mick, thank you for being with us.
No, you're very welcome.
Ignoring the Wi-Fi issues, this has been a success.
Well, I mean, it's a bit like that fans forum thing, isn't it? You know, you just define what you mean, particularly by success.
Yeah, very much so. And Danny, thank you very much for this as well, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yep, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how a certain former manager gets on with his away record at Hillsborough with a different team. Looking forward to that one.
Last day of season, I know. Thank you, everybody. Subscribe, like us, like the video, everything like that. And we'll see you next time, which will be on Thursday evening. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant. Mule with it. Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. The magic man has come up with another trick. Well, here's a chance to seal it.